This here is yet another positive article on Johnny. Seen a lot of that lately from Far Out. I think they're Johnny fans, by the way. I've only read a little bit of theirs, but as far as I can tell, they are. A great, uncompromising artist, Johnny Depp on the impact of Frank Sinatra. So Johnny does love the classics. Let's see what we got. And I'm a fan too of Sinatra. There are actors who dabble in music, musicians who dabble in acting, and performers who try to make their name in one before falling into the other almost by accident. Johnny Depp fits into the latter category, having become a cinematic superstar despite initially betting it all on his band hitting the big time. While still a teenager, Depp began playing in a Florida group, The Kids, who experienced enough minor success in their home state that they opted to chance their luck in California. When the band failed to secure a record deal and split up, it was Nicolas Cage who suggested that he try his hand at acting. I didn't know that, man. Wow. Okay. Maybe I did know. I heard it a long time ago, but maybe just once. I totally forgot. It feels to me like Johnny's been around longer than Nicolas Cage, and it would be the other way around, but I guess Cage has been around for that long. Okay. He'd always been interested in movies, but he didn't have any experience as a performer on stage or screen, never mind representation. Fortunately, as a member of the Kalapa dynasty with connections, Cage helped Depp to land an audition. And that audition was for Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, I didn't know that either. So it seems like Nicolas Cage played a pretty big part in Johnny getting famous. I mean, it's possible that Johnny would have made it either way, but it's also possible that that role really helped give him that boost. Pretty interesting. And they say he never gave up his music interest. He was featured on an Oasis album, Iggy Pop album, Aerosmith, and he was in the groups P and Hollywood Vampires. I heard Oasis thought he was like a great slide guitarist and they had to get him. I'm an Oasis fan too, just for the record. As mentioned, actors and musicians pass like ships in the night all the time, but not many of them have conquered the two worlds and become icons in both of them. One of the most famous and arguably the single most successful, looking at their accomplishments in each discipline, was Frank Sinatra. I didn't know Frank Sinatra acted. I, of course, knew he was a musician. And they list a few things Sinatra did, which I'm not going to get into detail. Accomplishments. We have the idea. And then they quote Johnny here. For many, he's a benchmark epitome, an embodiment of reaching the pinnacle in film and music, so it's no surprise Depp holds him in such esteem. Here's Depp's quote. For me, Frank Sinatra was a great, uncompromising artist, he told Film Scouts. He made an incredible contribution to music. I didn't know him personally. I've been in the same room with him, and he was an awesome figure. He was an incredible man. Well, if they're in the same room, I wonder why they never met. Maybe at the time, Johnny was a lower-end actor and he couldn't quite get in there and meet him. Because I'll assume if it was when Johnny was at more of the heights of his career, he'd be able to just, shake his hand and get an introduction. But all right, I guess I'll never know. As an inspiring actor would kill for a career even half as successful as Sinatra's, and the exact same sentiment applies, it would be singers and recording artists. The fact he was equally proficient in each area speaks volumes to not only his talent, drive, and desire, but also wide-ranging appeal. Obviously, Depp isn't Sinatra, and he never wanted to be, but he's still the blueprint for how being an actor and singer isn't necessarily an either-or kind of deal, but a potential dual-pronged and full-time livelihood with no limits on either. All right, I gotta be blunt about actors and musicians. Generally, actors who want to be musicians kind of like music. They do it on the side, but they're more of like an average-ish musician. Keanu Reeves, for example, love him. He's amazing, but his band Dogstar never even really had one hit, and it pretty much goes under the radar. That's because he's an actor, and he's an amazing actor. But as a musician, look, he's average. I just think he wants it. He wants to be a musician. Some of you might know this guy, Billy Bob Thornton. He's a drummer in a band, and you probably didn't know that. Again, he's a great actor in my opinion, but, his drumming, not spectacular. He's good, but my point is, most of the time, the actor/musician is good at one, but not so much at the other. As for Johnny Depp, I think he's a good musician. he's got specific talents, but it's more about he has this unique voice and persona that whatever he does kind of catches. So he's kind of in a unique situation with music. And he's a huge John Lennon fan, and yeah, that's a big plus for me. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. More good news about Johnny. Just a nice positive article. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.